Hello Internet, it's Dee. Today I wanted to do something a little different than the algorithm challenges. I told myself I was going to do 7 of them for I guess, entire week's look, although obviously it took me longer than a week, oh well. But I said I was going to do 7, and I'm going to do 7, even if it's just to prove it to myself. But instead I want to do something a little bit different today, because I recently got a new palette from ColourPop. It's the Ooh La La palette. This was actually gifted to me by my husband's mom, so thank you, Rebecca, for this very lovely present. I found out that this is actually this whole palette is a reference to the movie Mean Girls, a movie that it's just one of those movies I've never actually sat down and watched all the way through. Just kind of one of those like, oh yeah, I need to watch that sometime, that's just been on that list for however many years that movie's been out. Granted, it's so ubiquitous in pop culture and media and memes that I've kind of pieced together most of the plot through quotes and clips. But yeah, that's all I have. So I'm guessing the names of these are probably references to the movie that I don't know. There's not a shade called Fetch, and that's like the main word I know from that movie, so. Here's the inside of the palette. These are the colors we're working with and what it looks like here. So I kind of thought, for a 9-pan palette like this, what I want to do is just take y'all through the process of how I look at something like this and how I put it together on my eye. And because I've watched a lot of YouTubers, and I mean, like a lot, and they make some cool looks, but what I don't see a lot of them talk about is the thought process behind it, or the philosophy behind it of why are they choosing those colors to go where? Where is the method in the madness? Because you know there's got to be one, because they finish it and it looks amazing. But when you're just left with something like this, sometimes it's just okay, but what do I do? So I'm going to show you what I do and my thought process behind it, and maybe that can help you with some of your own palettes. So first things first, I'm going to prime my eyelids because I have not yet. I just usually have been using concealer to do it. This is the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. I have 2 shades of it. I don't even know if the camera can pick up the very subtle difference between these. One is the one I use mainly on my face, and one is just a shade lighter that's almost a little too white to use on the rest of my face, but I like how bright it is to use on my eyelids, because when I start my eyeshadow, I want as bright of a base as possible for the colors to pop as much as possible. And, I'm a very fair-skinned, very white person, so my eyelids are a little transparent and a little veiny, and I don't want that showing through into my nice colors. So yeah, I don't use a lot, just a little dab on each eyelid is usually more than enough, and then I just get a little sponge to blend that out. Now it's like my eyelids are so white, it's kind of weird, but it's a great base. Some people like to set their eyes after they prime them with a transparent powder. That can help with your blending. I don't like to do that just because, to me, it means the color is more likely to just sort of floof off much faster than if you have a little bit of a tacky base still. Although, this does crease really quickly, so before I actually put eyeshadow on, I always have to blend it out real fast. So I always start with just a basic eyeshadow blender brush like this. I kind of want more brushes like this. I use this one a lot, and I'm constantly having to clean it off between colors. How I want to start this, I think, is if I look at all these eyeshadows in here, so it looks like we have 4 mattes: Softcore, Poodle, Sandbar, and Trove. I want to identify those first because it's usually the matte shades that I want to start with if possible, because those are the ones that I want to blend into a nice gradient. I tend to like to start with the matte shades first and then layer the more shiny shades on top of it and end with the shiniest. So I'm going to start with the most muted color in here, Softcore, and I'm going to use that as just sort of my base to start, and I'm going to put it kind of right in and above my crease. And then I'm just kind of taking my time blending that up and a little bit outward. I hope you don't mind that I have to get my face real up close to the camera. I'm just wanting you to see the action here, but it's also, so I have the mirror right under the camera, and I'm very nearsighted, so I have to get very close to the mirror. Once I've gotten that how I like it, I'm going to get that color off my brush, and then I'm going to go into this next shade over, Poodle. And I'm pretty much going to do the exact same thing, except I'm going to go a little bit lower than the first shade and not blend it up quite as high. The goal here being that we make a nice little gradient. If I feel like I've gotten a little bit too much color on, I just clean my brush off and then use that to just keep diffusing it a little bit. So yeah, this shade I'm focusing just more in the crease itself, and just a little bit above and a little bit below. And once I got it placed enough, clean my brush off, and then just blend. It's just kind of a combination of little swipey motions and then kind of circles to blend it. And, you know, not really pressing very hard, just slightly. Alright, now I'm going to go in to the shade under that, Sandbar. And this time I'm going to take another eyeshadow blending brush, but this one is just a little bit thinner. And once again, just kind of repeating the exact same process, except pulling it just a little bit lower. And now with a clean brush, just gonna keep trying to blend that out a little bit. Just so we continue to have that nice little gradient. Alright, I think we're ready for the next color. At this point I have one more matte, this one in the corner here. But before I use that one, I'm thinking I want to just put a base color all over my lid to start. And for that, I'm going in with the shade right in the middle here, Opulent, which is kind of a satin shimmer with a little bit of like almost a slightly blue shift to it. For that, I'm just going to use my finger because I tend to prefer just, when it comes to the more shimmery shades, I just like using my fingers. I think they pick up the product and put it down better than brushes do. But just using my fingers with matte shades I find is kind of disastrous because then it's like they don't blend at all. So whether you're going in with a brush or not, for me always just depends on how much do I want to blend it. So yep, just gonna take that on my finger and just put it right on there. Problem with that is then you have to wash your hand on something afterwards so you don't just smudge color everywhere. I keep a makeup wipe on hand for that. So what we've done here now is we have a nice gradient starting from like a very soft warm tone pink and then going down into this very cool toned pink. But I want to add a little bit more dimension to it, and so I'm going to take the thinner of my two blending brushes, and I'm going to go into that last matte Trove down here. This one's kind of it's like kind of a dark pink. I wouldn't quite call it a purple yet, but it's a very It's a color. I can't think of a good term for it right now. It's a dark pink. And I'm going to take that in what they call the outer V, which is the area kind of from right at the end of your eye here, kind of up and into your crease. So like this little thing right there. It's subtle, but you can kind of tell from this side to this side that this one just has a little bit more depth to it and looks a little bit more three-dimensional. Which, I mean, is weird to say because obviously it's my face and my face is three-dimensional, but it just makes it, adding those shadows back in just makes it pop more. Come to think of it is, you know what, I'm pretty sure, yeah, okay, this purple here, Caddy, is also matte. I kind of couldn't quite remember just from looking at the pan. I mean, if it was shiny, it certainly wasn't very shiny. So I think what I'm going to do with that one is kind of use that a bit like a liner and going to take it under my eye too. I think I want to try to blend it with one of the pinks first though. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I'm going to take my smaller blending brush. I'm going to go back into Sandbar here and run that on my lower lid. And then just kind of smoke it out. Don't be afraid to make some weird faces. Oops, got on my cheek a little. Okay. I think that's enough to work with. Now I'm going to take a thinner tapered brush and use this on Caddy, the purple shade here, and just kind of use it as a liner. Well, not exactly as a liner because I'm going to blend it out, but the way I'm putting it on, it's kind of like liner. And just to help it blend, I'll bring it a little bit onto the top lid, but not too much. Then use my clean blending brush to just go in and blend it. Also maybe to help get some of that pink off my face. Well, you know what? I'm going to be putting blush on in a minute anyway. It's probably going to look fine. And yeah, see, once again, that dark color just adds a little bit more dimension. Okay, let's see. I think we have 3 colors we haven't used yet. I'm going to take a little bit of Moonstruck here, this bottom kind of golden shade. And since my eyes are kind of making a gradient now from this warm toned peachy pink up here to cool toned bluish to purple down here, I'm going to keep the golden shade with the other warmer shades. So I'm going to use it as a brow bone highlight, and I'm just going to take it on a brush as opposed to my finger because I don't want it to be too intense. I just kind of want a little bit of shimmer there. Now that's still actually quite a bit of shimmer, but you know what? That's fine because I like shimmer. It's all just kind of a matter of putting darker shades where you want shadows to be and putting lighter shades where the light hits and where you want it to be seen. I'm not exactly sure when putting really light shades kind of on the brow bone became a thing, but I'm okay with it because more shimmers, and once again, it's just, you know, more dimension. Okay, so now we have like some shiny going on up here. This shade in the corner here, Tickled, is actually like, it's a really weird formula. It's powdery, but it feels very similar if you ever have felt the ColourPop Super Shock eyeshadows or highlighters, the ones that are kind of soft and almost putty-like. Yeah, it's like you can make an indent with your finger in this. It's so soft and squishy. So I'm just going to take that on my finger again, and I'm just going to put that right at the highest point of my eyelid to make it extra shimmery, just right in the middle there. And then I think I'm going to put a little tiny bit on my pinky finger and put that in the corners here and a little bit right underneath. I think the theory goes putting a highlighter here just makes your eyes look like bigger and more open. That only leaves one more shade we haven't used yet, and that's Big Sugar right here. And as opposed to putting it on my eyes, you know what? I'm just going to use it as blush. What can I say? I just think that's a really pretty blush color. I really want to say brush and not blush. And there we go. I used every color. I'm gonna go finish my eyes off camera because it's going to start screaming at me and overheating if I don't. And then I'll be back. Alright, camera. I'm looking at you. Don't just crash on me. You know I don't like it when you do that. I'm gonna give you a minute, okay? It's almost been a minute. Don't shut off on me. Don't do it. Don't do it. Alright, went ahead and finished my eyes. Just to run you through what I did. I went ahead and put some liquid liner on the top because I don't know, I just thought this look needed a wing. And then I lined the bottom waterline in black as well with a pencil and put on mascara. And then just because, you know, I like this look being a little dramatic, just put on some nice fancy falsies while I was at it. Because, oh my gosh, there's so much flutter. I realized I haven't put any highlighter on yet, and just to stick with our palette theme, I think I'm just going to use Tickled up here as my highlighter because it is extremely sparkly and wonderful. I'm just going to use my fingers. Ooh. Ooh. Yes. Can you all see that? I love me a good blinding highlight. Is it natural looking? Does it look like natural skin glow? Shut up, phone. No. It looks like glitter. And that's what I want. Put a little on my nose, because why not? And I don't know, I've been seeing more people put it like right on the top of the lip here, and I started doing it because I think it looks pretty. You know, it might be one of those things where in like 20 years people will be like, oh my god, remember that time when we put highlighter on the top of our lips? But you know what? I like it right now, so. More. Give me that glow. Oh, yes. For lips, I also have a new ColourPop. I also have a ColourPop lipstick that was gifted to me. And so, I want to try it. It's a very purpley, pinky purple? Pinky purple? We'll see how it looks. You know, if I don't like it, I'll just take it off. This is the shade Heart On. Well, I would say that this shade goes, pretty much perfectly with this look. I am pink with pink, and I'm very pink. A little bit of black. I love pink and black. It's such a good color combo. Haven't seen it, like, commonly on clothing in years. And, that sucks. I don't know what's wrong with people. It's great. This little thing I'm wearing over my shirt here, ancient. I've had this thing for years and years. I got it at Hot Topic probably when I was still maybe a teenager, maybe early 20s. And it's cute, and I still like it, dang it! If you're curious as to my general outfit, I paired it over this Lisa Frank shirt with a black and pink checkered skirt with some pink tights that already have a run in them, so that's great. This is why I prefer leggings. They don't do that. I found this black ribbon when I was in the bathroom doing my hair, and I was going to combine it with this little flower, and then I remembered I'm out of craft glue, so I couldn't do that. Alright, and I'm gonna finish with a little setting spray. Not that I need a lot of longevity out of this, but it feels good. I just like it. Alright, let's get in there with the finished look. This also reminds me that I need to trim my bangs. Well, that's a job for another day. Well, that's all for today. Tell me what you think of this look down in the comments. Click that red button, make sure you're subscribed. And if you like this video, you can hit the thumbs up button and keep it in your playlist forever. Well, until you unlike it, I guess. Also, hey, in case you're not aware somehow, because every YouTuber's been saying it forever, click the bell icon so you get notified when I upload. Whoa! Also, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Sometimes I even post there. So yeah, hopefully you got a little insight in that as to my thought process behind using a palette like this. Maybe it gave you some ideas on how to use some of your own palettes. If you have any particular ideas or palettes you want me to try, let me know, and I can make no guarantees as I'm not made of money and nobody sends me free PR, but I can maybe try to do something about it for you. And until then, I will see you in the next video. Bye!